YouTubers! Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin Channel. Vancouver real estate is once again the fastest cooling market in Canada. Woo! Who wants to buy that house? That house I did. I'm gonna leave a link at the end of the video to that video I did where the house was selling for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom bungalow was selling for $5.5 million, but it's on sale. It's down $500,000 from the original listing price of $6 million. Who the hell's gonna move into something like that? Who the hell wants to take on that kind of responsibility for a tear-down house? Anyways, Vancouver real estate is once again the fastest cooling market in Canada. I just have one word to say. Woo! Canadian real estate markets are seeing demand improvements, just not in British Columbia. Canadian Real Estate Association, CREA, data shows that sales to new listings ratio, SNLR, increased in August. The ratio, which gives a quick snapshot on how soft the market is, generally increased. British Columbian real estate was a notable exception. Cities in the province were the 3 fastest cooling markets in the country. Well, what do you expect is going to happen? Laundered money, billions of dollars, $200 billion to be exact, roughly, give or take a couple of billions in real estate, through casinos, through all kinds of methods. What do you think is going to happen? You get bought out. Goodbye. You're going to have to change cities. You're not going to afford to keep up with the Joneses. Sales to new listings ratio. So this is very important, guys. I've been talking about sales to new listings. What is selling and what's on the market. Oversupply is coming. Oversupply is coming. Oversupply is coming. I've been talking about oversupplying for years. Go back on my channel and type that in under search across the channel so you can see what I got going on here. And it's not post-dicting, it's predicting. There is an oversupply on the market, and with the Canadian proper or middle class or first-time buyers not able to enter the market, it's over. It's game over. Unless people get an 80 to 150% raise to meet a minimum income. We're not talking about minimum wage, average income. Once average income can't get in, goodbye. The sales to new listings, SNLR, one of the measures the industry uses to gauge demand. The ratio is exactly what it sounds like. The ratio to homes to sale, the number of new listings for homes, it's one of the measures of absorption the industry uses. To understand replenishment, it's straightforward. The higher the ratio, the slower the inventory replenishment. This generally leads to higher prices. The lower the ratio, the longer it'll take to absorb the inventory. This generally leads to lower prices. So right now, the inventory in Vancouver right now, what's listed there with this oversupply will take about 156 years to turn over at the rate it's selling at right now. Mark that down. 156 years it would take to go through the entire inventory that's listed right now. And back in early 2017, late 2016, they could have done it they could have gone through the entire inventory in 5 years. That's how crazy it was back in 2016 and 17. Until they introduced the foreign buyers tax. There's a few key points an industry likes to watch and even give cute names to. When the ratio is above 60%, it's a seller's market. When the price is expected to rise below 40%, the market is a buyer's market, right? Right, guys? You guys should know this from watching my channel. Where prices are expected to fall between 40 and 60% is considered a balanced. And prices are just right. Of course, some markets are more sensitive to ratio than others, and it's just a guideline. Obviously, use multiple data points before trying to gauge where the market is going to head. Eastern Canadian real estate seeing the biggest increases. Again, Toronto is seeing bigger increases. So we got here Halifax, Montreal, and parts of Toronto. But those cities, Halifax, Montreal, Gatineau, Quebec, are doing well because the inventory is cheaper and there's no bidding wars in some cities, and you could just go in, especially in Halifax right now. It's got the second highest ratio right now, hitting 72.5%, up 9.1% from last year. And Montreal is the third fastest growing in the market at 74.8. So why? Mass exodus from Ontario, people heading north and northeast and east. So that's what's happening right now. Canadians are moving. I left Vancouver. I moved to a small town. I bought a house for $260,000. That same house in Vancouver would probably be $7 or $8 million. The same house that I bought with the amount of land I have. Here it is. Sales to new listings ratio. Very important, guys, that you keep this in mind. So let's go all the way down here. Here it is. So there it is. Not good at all. There's Saskatoon right behind. There's Regina, Fraser Valley, Edmonton, Calgary. Toronto upticking the list. Toronto used to be way down here. Then you got Quebec, then Murderpeg, Canada as a whole, benchmark. And then you got Niagara, Hamilton, Gatineau, Kitchener, Sudbury, and way up here, Ottawa, Montreal, Halifax, London. So these are sales to new listing ratios. This is really good because these listings are there and sales are being made, where as opposed to back in 2017, I got that right, sales were a little bit hinderous. They got better, and they got a lot better right there. So this graph is very good. It actually shows you. Then it shows you here. There it is there. Remember 2017 where I said, there it is there. There it is there. Now, good luck trying to turn over all the inventory in Vancouver. Good luck. 40%. It'll take you hundreds of years to turn over all the inventory that's for sale. BC real estate leads the market lower. Again, we know this already. Sales to new listing ratio change. Here it is. Gatineau. Look at that. Halifax, Montreal. These guys are all pretty good. Even Toronto's up here too, believe it or not. Toronto's right there. 4.6% change to the plus. I mean, when you start getting to Edmonton, it gets cold. Thunder Bay is cold. Canada as a whole is pretty low as a benchmark. Look at that. Canada as a whole. Oof, that's not good. These guys are bringing down all of Canada and the Fraser Valley. Fraser Valley is Vancouver interior. There it is. Fraser Valley and then Vancouver right after. So the province of British Columbia with Victoria here, right here. Vancouver, Fraser Valley interior, and Victoria, the island, Vancouver Island, right here. All of BC is bringing down Canada to this benchmark down here, which is horrible. If it wasn't for Gatineau and Halifax, Canada right now would be below. Canada wouldn't be sitting here. It'd be in the negative down here. Very lucky that those cities are picking up. Very lucky with the mass exodus of people leaving Ontario and leaving the GTA and just really going out there into the interior of Canada. I'm 2.5 hours from Vancouver, so I'm out here too. I'm not really out there like to Halifax from Toronto, no. But I'm pretty far still, you know. Toronto real estate didn't fit in either extremes, but did outperform the national growth. Yeah, the national growth, which I showed you here. Right there. And then Toronto did perform the national growth. So it's up here somewhere. There it is. So it did outperform that. Toronto reached 53.7 in August, 4.6 from last year. To contrast, the national aggregation hit 56.6, up 0.7% from last year. The market in Toronto is a little more loose than the national number, but it's growing faster. Overall, Canadian real estate markets are seeing demand improve. Compared to last year, Eastern Canada saw the biggest boost. After underperforming for years, BC, which led the price growth over the past few years, is predictably finding a better balance. Yes, it's finding a better balance. Better dwelling usually comes up with a good punchline at the end. Let me finish that punchline off. Vancouver and Fraser Valley and Victoria are going to have to come down to earth, because if they don't, no one's going out to space to pay those prices. Nah, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, you let me know what you guys think. If you're in the Vancouver market, you are in a cooling market. If you are in Sydney, Sydney, Australia, you are in a cooling market. There's some pockets picking up. But again, how much is selling into the reality of 2016, 2017? What's the reality of the sales? The sales are up from last year. Well, last year was even worse. But if sales, anything up to 1% from last year, you're doing well. You're in the plus. But how long does it take to flip over all the inventory? I think in Sydney it would take over 100 years to flip over the inventory there. I think in Auckland, like 60 to 70 years to flip over the inventory. Before all this no foreign buyers allowed in Auckland, New Zealand, you could flip that inventory in about 20 years, all of Auckland's inventory. Now, it's going to take hundreds now with no foreign investors allowed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to know. Is your city falling into, is it headed to a journey of nowhere with housing? Right now, housing in Vancouver is definitely headed towards a journey to nowhere, or a path to exile, if you want to say, or stuck in an oblivion ring. Comment below, let me know. Thanks for watching.